हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, कैसे हैं आप सभी? आई होप एज ऑलवेज द सेम स्टेटमेंट से मैं स्टार्ट करती हूँ. आई होप यू आर रीडिंग योर न्यूज़पेपर एवरी डे विदाउट fail and you are connecting whatever you read from newspaper with your main syllabus, and you're not forgetting to solve every day the PYQs of UPSC so that you can get a better glimpse of what UPSC expects while it asks questions in the examination. All right, so with this little reminder every day, let me begin the daily newspaper analysis. I welcome you all to the DNA session today, and let's begin with our first article, and that is digital arrest duping people by posing as officers. This article is very much important for the topic cybercrime, and this will belong to your GS paper 3 main syllabus under the topic basics of cyber security and security challenges. Also you can mention this in your case studies as an example as well. Okay, let's read a little bit from the article that what was the news and because of which this article has come up in the newspaper, and then further we'll look at some extra content related to this article, and I think I have added some questions as well for the practice. With that practice question, we'll deal with this particular topic in detail. So read this line about the context, what happened. So this is a case where a woman named Rohini received more follow-up calls from senior IPS officer posing as senior IPS officer who asked her to download Skype. So why am I making you to read this? So that you are aware, and one of the initiatives by the government is for the awareness only. I am making you read this because so that you are aware what and how the things are operated at the fraudster level, and so that you can also make your relatives, your friends aware about this and how they operate. So posing as senior IPS officer who asked her to download Skype, a video conferencing app. She was interrogated on Skype calls and told that an arrest warrant. So that's how the person gets fearful, that an arrest warrant had been issued in her name only after she transferred some money into an account and an auditor approved the transaction. Would she avoid getting arrested? She was asked not to talk about it as it was a national security issue. So if you're asked that you cannot talk about it because it is a national security issue, so you'll get scared and you will not even discuss it with your confident people, your relatives, your friends, or you might not approach the local police station because you'll think they'll arrest you. So this is called as digital arrest. And then we can say that the victims of such fraud are put in a virtual house arrest by imposters. So this is what happens and how this is how they operate. Why you need to read this? Because cybercrime, an important topic, is there in your syllabus. Next line read, when she insisted on knowing whether they were genuine police officers, the imposters even showed the victims a cabin where 2 policemen were present, said an officer who is investigating the case. So this is how they operate, and if you know about this, you can save yourself and your friends from such frauds. Let's now see what is digital arrest, and this can come in prelims as well. So now for the extra content which you need to know is, you need to understand what is digital arrest. It is a new form of cybercrime where fraudsters pretending to be a law enforcement officers deceive targets in believing their Aadhaar card, SIM or bank account has been used for criminal activities. So they make you feel that your Aadhaar card, your SIM and your information related credentials has been used to make some fraud. You'll get scared because you won't be able to prove yourself that you haven't done such fraud, and you will be willing to do anything they would ask not to get arrested. All right, and then here there is a term cybercrime that we will look in detail, and we have some questions also to deal with. This is a very important topic, cybercrime, in your paper 3. Okay, so you need to read it in detail. And then further, they make victims believe they'll be arrested if they don't agree to be interrogated over video call, and then extort money, according to a Noida police officer. So this is your digital arrest. Further, what you need to know is, look at this question and try to see what kind of question UPSC can ask. Look at this question. Describe cybercrime and its type. Why India is vulnerable to cybercrime? So here, what will be the approach? First, you tell in introduction the meaning of cybercrime, and you tell different types of cybercrime, like government cybercrime towards government, cybercrime towards organization, cybercrime to a particular individual. These will be a type of cybercrime. And then why India is vulnerable to cybercrime, we'll see, like, you know, digital India, more access to digital platforms, more use of digital platforms in the payment, in identity, you know, giving identity like Aadhaar card, etc. Everything is digitalized now. So India has become more vulnerable to cybercrimes, and there are some initiatives which has been taken by the government to stop such cybercrimes. Let's see the meaning of cybercrime first. It's a term used to describe criminal activities involving computers or computer networks. It includes a wide range of illegal activities such as electronic hacking, denial of service attacks, phishing, credit card fraud, bank robbery, illegal downloading, child pornography, scams, cyber terrorism, and the creation or distribution of harmful viruses and spam. So cyber crime is a very wide term that includes all these things in its umbrella term. Okay, so this is the meaning of cybercrime, which you need to mention in introduction. Then further, what is types of cybercrime? What are the types of cybercrime that you need to see? Crimes against persons, crimes against property, crimes against the government. So this is a type of cybercrime. In simple terms, that we have already seen what is the meaning of cybercrime. Then cybercrime against person will involve such things like child pornography, defamation, using through hacking, using technology to threaten or harass individuals, crime against property, etc. This will include involving intellectual property violations, software piracy, cyber squatting, etc. Crime against government includes cyber terrorism, threatening national security through internet attacks. You might have seen there has been instances where entire government website was hacked. So this will come under crime against government in cybercrime type. Okay. Then why India is very much vulnerable to such crimes, cybercrime? Let's look at that. Rapid digitization is the reason why India is at the threat of cybercrime. Then large internet user base. India has the largest number of population using internet. That is why Mark Zuckerberg and, you know, Elon Musk, etc., their attention is diverted towards India, because they see India as a big market, because Facebook users, Instagram users, and as recently you have seen Prime Minister has given award himself, given award to people who are making YouTube content. So this shows that how much India is involved in online creativity and activity using internet, etc. So India has a large base of internet users. That makes India susceptible to cyber crimes. And then inadequate cyber security, lack of awareness. People do not have awareness, and people do not read such instances where cybercrime kind of events happen. If you are aware, you can insulate yourself from such traps. And that is why this article is important. Be aware, make people around you aware, share such stories so that they are conscious and they are, you know, they insulate themselves from such threats. And then weak legal framework, technological advancements is low, as technology is high, and that also puts cybercrime threats, like as technology advances, so do cyber threats. So cyber criminals, read further, cyber criminals constantly find new ways to exploit vulnerabilities in software, hardware, and network system. More use of such technology, more threat you are susceptible to. And then insider threats are there, payment systems vulnerability, Paytm, etc. Cross-border challenges. I remember one of the instances where I was given a call and some of the person said that I'm a friend of your father and he had lent me some money and I want to return it back. I have shared you a link. Please click on that link and type this code. Automatically the money will get transferred from my account to your account. But the point was that if I would have clicked on that link, my money would have got transferred to his account. Okay, so I just immediately called my father and asked, Papa, have you given such and such amount to money to any person? He denied, and I immediately knew, because why I was aware, why I could insulate myself of not being trapped in such situation, because I had already read, I had already heard from someone that such kind of things are happening. So I was saved, thankfully. So such kinds of article makes you aware, and government's efforts is also towards this only, that making people aware so that they are alert and they are not, they don't get trapped in such false calls. Okay, and then cross-border challenge are there. Cyber criminals can operate from anywhere in the world. There is no boundary. Cyber criminals do not have any boundary. They can sit anywhere in the world and they can operate. So making it challenging to apprehend and prosecute them, especially if they are located in jurisdictions with weak cyber security laws. So there are countries, there are borders where there are weak cyber security laws. So it's impossible, or it's very hard to find those people operating from there and take some actions against them. So these are the problems, these are the issues because of which it puts India at high vulnerability to cyber crimes. Okay, so, and then a lot of times students keep asking that how to conclude a question, how to conclude an answer properly, and that is why I never ever fail to mention for you some of the ways to conclude a particular answer. Here I have given these 2-3 lines for you. You can read. And just a reminder, by the way, these content which I show you on YouTube, a link will be provided in the description box of Telegram channel of the Tathastu-ICS. You can join the Telegram channel, and from there you can access these content and read, attach in everyday's daily newspaper analysis, and you can have a reference, okay, later on while you are revising your daily newspaper analysis. So no need to take a screenshot any further. We will be providing this content on Telegram's channel of the Tathastu-ICS, and you can download from there. So this is how you can conclude an answer. Now let's move to second article, a fresh stance. It is on editorial page. This is about TAPA and this is about EFTA. Read the first paragraph. India's first read this subheading: India's free trade pact with 4 EU nations matters even if gains are limited. On Sunday, India signed a Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, TAPA, with a block of 4 union countries. Now, important information is coming for you. 4 European countries, TAPA. What are these? Iceland, Liechtenstein, pronounce as in how you want to, Norway, Switzerland, formerly known as European Free Trade Association, EFTA. Now, for you, a prelims questions can be framed from this particular information that we will look at. Just read the next paragraph which is here, and while you read such kind of information, such kind of topics, such kind of deals, you need to know what is the significance, what significance this particular signing of the treaty holds for India. So what is the significance? Read, this is given in the next line, and how I have highlighted the paragraphs. This is how you should highlight, this is how you should approach an article. Many students ask how to complete newspaper in 40-45 minutes. This is how you complete newspaper in 40-45 minutes, by quickly glancing at the paragraphs and knowing where to emphasize, which points to pick and which points to leave. And how you develop such kind of sense? You develop such kind of sense by referring to your syllabus, by referring to previous year question papers. That's how you develop this sense. Okay, so read this, how this deal will help India. Professionals, architects, accountants and nurses can also expect more opportunities. Most goods export already get duty-free treatment in Switzerland, India's largest EFTA trade partner. So the linchpin in this deal is the inbuilt goal to nudge $100 billion of fresh foreign direct investment into India and create 1 million jobs over 15 years. Indian consumers can expect cheaper wines and chocolates, while producers may access cheaper machinery. So good news for the people who are fond of wines, and good news for the people who are fond of chocolates, because these countries are a good producer of good quality of wine and chocolates. All right, so this is the significance for India of EFTA or TAPA. Now some of the additional information before we take up a question, practice question. Look at the additional information about EFTA or TAPA. What is EFTA? EFTA is a regional trade organization and free trade area consisting of, as we've already seen in the article, consisting of 4 European states. What are these? Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. So these are the 4 countries you need to remember. EFTA was established to serve as an alternative trade bloc. Why it was established? It was established to work as an alternative trade bloc for these European states that were unable to or were unwilling to join European economic countries. So further extra information which is coming for you is EEC. Next, in some day, in some discussion, we will see what EEC, but here we will limit our discussion to EFTA. Okay. So which subsequently became the European Union. So EEC and European Union, etc. That all are you need to read. But here we are limiting ourselves to EFTA. The next, the organization operates in parallel with the European Union. So how does this operate? This operates in parallel with European Union and all 4 members participate in European single market. So this is a little bit information about EFTA. Now let's look at a question. Whatever you read, it's important that you understand how question can be formed. That is why we look at a practice question. Read the question on the screen. The European Free Trade Association, EFTA, is an intergovernmental organization consisting of which of these countries? So if you read, what were the countries? Switzerland, Norway, yes, they were there. You can read from here also. Norway, Switzerland. So Norway and Switzerland is correct, but Germany and France were not there. What were 2 other countries that you read from here? So what the right answer here will be A, and again you can revise. So Iceland and Liechtenstein are the 2 other countries. Norway and Switzerland are in the option. So right answer will be A. Okay. With this, our second article gets completed. Let's move to third article. This is on editorial page. By the way, one of the students yesterday had commented in DNA that, ma'am, please do cover editorial page as well. Look, we do cover editorial page, bacha. Okay, beta, every day, whenever there are important articles, we do cover editorial page. But some of the days I skip editorial page and articles because they're not of that much significance. And you should not worry about that I'm leaving editorial page. And you should also skip reading that editorial because maybe you can read and you can find 1 or 2 information, but that is not important enough. That is not much a reason to invest your significant amount of time in reading that particular article. That is why I have skipped. Yesterday in editorial page there was not much information. I had told you that there is an article about urbanization and new trend of urbanization, and I've given you what all those that article had covered. I suggested you to just give a glance about it, not to dwell much into that article. That was it about editorial page. Today I have taken 2 articles from editorial page because they are important to be read and they are very much probable to appear in the examination. Okay? So read this article now. India's R&D funding, breaking down the numbers. Now this article talks about the data and the facts about what is the funding, how much is being spent in India on R&D, what is the benefit of spending more on the R&D, what was the slogan starting from the Lal Bahadur Shastri, Jai Jawan, Jai Kishan, to Prime Minister recently, Jai Jawan, Jai Kishan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. Okay, so this context has been given, this slogan has been given, and how the slogan evolved over time, what is the significance of recent slogan given our current Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, and what is the benefit of more funding in R&D, and what are the bottlenecks, like government spending there, but there is a lack of participation from private sector, and then in the last a way forward conclusion has been given. This is how you might also be asked a question on this, and the way article has been written, this is how you write answers in your examination. Like you first give a context, and such slogans which I'll show in the article itself makes your answer very beautiful and authentic. And then further you write some facts to authenticate your answer, to justify what you claim in your statements, and then further you give a way ahead and conclusion as well, some of the government initiative which has been taken for R&D in the country. Okay, so let's read the first paragraph. Read this: the announcement in the interim budget for 2024 of a corpus of 1 lakh crore to bolster the research and innovation ecosystem within the country has sparked enthusiasm within the scientific and research communities. Now, the important information coming for you, and you should take this away and write it somewhere, wherever you want to, and ratify it. Okay, mug this up. The decision to rebrand the slogan Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji gave. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, A.B. Vajpayee ji gave. To now, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, and Jai Anusandhan. So, Jai Jawan is army, Jai Kisan is a farmer, Jai Vigyan is a science, and Jai Anusandhan is research and development, R&D. Okay. By the Prime Minister is intended to reinforce the foundation of research and innovation for development. The significance of research and innovation cannot be overstated in fueling economic growth, technological advancement, and global competitiveness. So, what is the benefit of more, funding in R&D? This will bring economic growth, this will bring technological advancement, this will bring global competitiveness for India. And the next line is about data. You need to look at the data, like what are the funding in R&D. Okay, what is the current situation? So this is the data which has been given. R&D is witnessing significant growth with notable increase in growth expenditure on research and development. GERD, this is the amount 601,968 million. 6,01,968 million rupees in 2010-11, and then 12,73,810 million in 2021. Okay. However, with research and development investment as a percentage of GDP standing as 0.664. This is significant information for you. What is the data? This is what is the percentage of GDP on R&D? It is 0.64%. India falls behind major developed and emerging economies. So this is now important data. India is falling behind. Of whom? China, Germany, South Korea. China mein there is 2.5%, 2.4% of GDP being invested on R&D, and on Germany it is 3.1%. In South Korea is 4.8%, and in United States is 3.5%. So you can look at the percentage, the data of the GDP which is being invested on R&D, and India is just 0.64%. Despite that, Indian scientists are doing really well. We are registering more and more patents, etc. Okay, so this is one data which I wanted you to look at. Then I have highlighted this point further, that what is the international scenario. So read about this international scenario, like however the contribution of private industry is. So here in this line, this data is saying that the private sector participation is low in funding of R&D, and then further it has given what is the international standard, how in the international community private sector is funding R&D in the countries, and these are the data. So with this information which you need to look at, the last thing which I wanted you to look at is the solution. Then solution has been provided. What is the solution? A multi-pronged approach involving diverse stakeholders is necessary to address the challenges and unlock the potential of R&D for India's economic growth and competitiveness. Learning from R&D ecosystem in other developed countries while maintaining India's strengths in streamlining decision making and strategic alignment could be a powerful force to optimize its R&D landscape. India must implement policies that incentivize private companies to invest in R&D. So India must come up with such policies which can incentivize the private sector to come up and invest in the R&D. Okay, so this has been the way forward, the solution which has been given. Then further, some of the government initiative has been mentioned here in the article. 2 of the government initiative has been mentioned. In our additional notes which I have provided further, I have given more government initiatives which has been taken up towards R&D, funding of R&D in the country. So what are these initiatives? Like National Deep Tech Startup Policy, NDTSP is there, then Anusandhan, National Research Foundation, ANRF Act is there. So these are the points which you needed to take it away from the article. Now let's look at a practice question. What is the practice question? Discuss the challenges in sustainable funding. Discuss the challenges in sustainable funding for R&D in India. How can India improve its R&D spending? This challenges has already been given the article that we looked at, and also some of the initiatives of the government and way forward. That has already been mentioned in the article, and that is what you need to write. But I have provided you some extra content that you can have a look at quickly. Like while you start writing this question, while you start writing this answer, you need to start with a context. And what is the context? You cannot just straight away start the challenges of funding in the funding of the R&D in the country. You have to provide a context, a beautiful context in the introduction. There are multiple ways to start an introduction, to write an introduction, and one way to write an introduction for a question is to write a contextual introduction. And what is a contextual introduction? You provide some recent information, some recent current affairs, some recent happenings which is related to that topic asked in the question. So here, what will the contextual introduction? National Science Day celebrated annually on 28th February. This was in news on 28th February as well. Honors the discovery of Raman effect and acknowledges scientists' contribution to India's development. It highlights the importance of science in fostering sustainable development. So this is how you start your question answer for this particular kind of question. Then just extra information not related to this topic. I've given you what is National Science Day and why it is celebrated on 28th February, C.V. Raman Nobel Prize in Physics. What was the theme of this year of National Science Day? Indigenous technologies for Viksit Bharat. Significance I have given for the National Science Day, why National Science Day is celebrated, and then start your answer for the demand of the question. The question has asked about the challenges. So these are challenges like underutilization of the budgets is there, delays in disbursement of the budget is there, and then uncertain government budget allocation is another challenge in funding of R&D. Then insufficient private sector investment that we have already seen in the article which came in our newspaper of the Hindu editorial page. Okay, so these are the challenges which are being faced by in the funding of the R&D, and this was the last point. Insufficient private sector investment has been highlighted in very much detail. So I have taken these details from the newspaper, the article we read only, with adding some more extra information that you can read by downloading it from the Telegram channel of Tathastu-ICS. Okay, and what was the further in the main body itself? How can we improve the funding in R&D in India? These are the point, like consistent investment should be there, philanthropic funding needs to be encouraged, and industry academic collaboration has to be there, like college, schools, and then industry, and then science and technologies related to whatever institutions are there, they should come up and collaborate. So these are some of the way forward which can be taken up to improve the science intake for the improved funding. Then next is venture capital and angel investors. Okay, and then further what you write is the government initiatives. Some of the government initiatives, as we saw, has already mentioned in the article, like Anusandhan National Research Foundation. This was mentioned in the article itself. What are the government initiative, other government initiative which has not been mentioned in the article, that I have given here for you to be read, like development of Center of Excellence, creation of National Research Foundation, Vaibhav Fellowship is there, Global Innovation Index 2023 was released, India secured the 40th position in the latest GEI 2023, then Atal New India Challenge 2.0, announcement of New Science Award. These are some of the initiatives taken up by the Government of India as an initiative to up the funding or to attract the funding in R&D. So these are the some of the initiatives, like further announcement of New Science Awards, Vigyan, Yuva Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar, postdoctoral fellowship is given. Then, as I always tell you, I give you conclusion because body का जो content होता है mostly student can write, but they stuck at introduction and conclusion. So whenever I give a question, I try to tell you how to write an introduction and conclusion. So in conclusion, addressing challenges related to sustainable funding for science requires coordinated efforts from government agencies, policy makers, research institutions, and the private sector. So collaborative efforts from who? And it has mentioned in the article also. Government agencies, policy makers, research institutions, and private sector to streamline funding mechanism, improve capacity building initiatives, and foster a culture of innovation and research and excellence. All right. So this is how you approach this article, and I mean, this is it for today's newspaper. You don't need to dwell much into other articles. Just read it, go through it again, and try to put and assimilate in your mind. किसी ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली थी कि जो ह्यूमन माइंड है ना, that is not made for collection of data and facts. This is made for creation of facts, of data. आप 2-3 फैक्ट्स, 2-3 डेटा पढ़िए, 2-3 इंफॉर्मेशन पढ़िए, लेकिन उससे 4-5 इंफॉर्मेशन और बनाइए, इसी से एक अच्छा आंसर बनता है. So do not be a student who believes in acquiring more and more information, but be a student who acquires some significant information, reads whatever is given in a limited manner, but create new information, but use those information to create a better and more coordinated, more related information and put it in your answer. क्वेश्चन जैसा पूछा है आपको उन्हीं इंफॉर्मेशन को मोल्ड करते हुए अपने आंसर्स में लिखने हैं एंड एक ब्यूटीफुल आंसर क्रिएट करना है. दैट इज हाउ यू डील विथ वास्ट सिलेबस ऑफ यूपीएससी एंड वास्ट कंटेंट which you are required to keep in your mind and produce in the examination. So with this little reminder, I should end today's daily newspaper analysis. I'll see you in next session. Keep reading and be consistent. Tathastu.